Hello and welcome to the first in a series of videos for the Industrial Robotics Framework Machining Cells. Over the course of this series, I'm going to be providing demonstrations and tutorials on how to make use of the robotic cells to get the best out of your machining experience. In the first of these videos, I will be covering how to navigate the HMI. The HMI, or the Human-Machine Interface, is the primary way for a user to interact with the system. You can see here that we have an example of this HMI for a deburring robot cell, though this could account for any cell created under the framework system. Using this interface, the user will be able to control the robot, program the robot, and start and run production work. So, the first thing that we can see when logging and starting up the HMI is the login screen. So here is where a user will be able to select their login information and sign into the system. The system will keep track of whoever logs in and associate any work done to that person. So it is important to log in correctly. So in this case, we select which user that we want to log in as and input our password using the keypad provided before logging into the system. Alright, so now we have one of our three major screens within this system, this being the part screen. In the part screen, we have a set of tiles that represent all the parts that have been trained within the system, and as well as, if we scroll to the end, all the jigs that are trained within the system. The difference between these and how to use them will be covered in a later video. We have as well the ability to add and manipulate new parts or jigs. We have the logout area in this top header bar. This header bar remains throughout any of the screens used inside of the HMI. You have a status bar showing the current state of the system, and you have a series of notification icons to say what is currently going on in the system, what the state of the system currently is, and we will cover the status bar in more detail in a future video. From here you have two options. You can either go to the run screen or you can go to the training screen. We'll navigate to the run screen first to show that off. There are multiple ways to get there, but we will start by just going directly to it. Down in this bottom navigation section, you can see the button here for Run Screen. If I click on that, then we will be taken to the Run Screen. The Run Screen shows off a simulation work area in the center. This is where all parts are loaded in prior to being run on the robot itself. On the left, we have a machine queue. So this provides the layout for the tables within the system. When loaded, this will show parts on the tables within the system, and you will be able to select and run specific parts from the system in this layout. Down the bottom, we have a number of controls for making use of the run screen, this being to add parts, unload parts, scan the table itself. But again, we will cover this functionality in another video. On the right side of the screen, we have at the top here a task progress area. So this will inform the user about what the robot is currently trying to do. We have a controls tab, which updates depending on which mode you're running in. So this will provide additional controls for you to make use of in the system. Again, we will cover most of the functionality here in another video. But this is the layout for the run screen. Down the bottom again with the navigation tab, we can click on the home button in the bottom left-hand corner to navigate ourselves back to the part screen. This acts as a central screen between all others. Now, if we were to instead want to go to the training screen, we will have to select a particular part to train. In this case, I will select this R10028 part, and I will select to train the part. When I click Train Part, I will be prompted with a selection of which table I want to run on, or select which table I want to train on, should I say. In this case, you specify to the system which table you intend for it to begin training on, and typically I'll train on table 1. Following the selection of the table, if you selected either table 1 or table 3, you have the option of using it as a table, or if you've inserted the positioner, or loaded the positioner I should say, you can select the positioner instead if that is what you are training on. In this case, this part is done on the table. From here we can see the training screen load in. And this has a similar but slightly different look to the run screen. You can still see that we have the simulation area in the center where all our parts are loaded. On the right side here we still have our task progress and our modes at the bottom, as well as our control area. On the left side, however, we now have a currently empty window here, but this will act in the same way as the tables that you saw in the run screen. Parts will be loaded in here and you'll be able to run and select through those. You have a set of controls which differ depending on which training mode you are using, and you have a parameter editor. So this will be where you do most of your training. Again, we can use the home button at the bottom to navigate back to the part screen. Once you have finished your shift or want to exit for the next person to log in, or you've done whatever you needed to do, it's time to log out. We can log out using the logout button provided at the top of the screen. And that will bring us back to the start. So that is a quick review of how to navigate through the Industrial Robotics HMI. In following videos, I will go into more depth about each screen and what each one has access to and how to use it. Thank you.